I forgot to mention this on the first like video back into the series. I'm like, oh, I found like a backlog of like my old videos because my first channel got deleted, so I had to like re-upload everything to this channel. My God, that has been a journey. But like I have up to chapter 13 of Your Family and You, so I'm just gonna be re-editing those and pushing them out to you guys. So that's why it's going on right now. It's like it's not me reading, but I am editing them, so like luckily that takes a bit of my time. Also, I get to see how I reacted to that story and see like what I feel. I feel like I should have mentioned that. just just cause I feel like some people think, oh, I'm back. Nah, chapter 13, because I think I'm gonna have an update video after this, because I feel like I know what I want to do, but at the same time I don't with this channel, because I for sure I'm so done with pony content on this channel. Maybe not Your Family and You, because if I do get back into it, I feel like this is one of those stories that I will always come back to, because I always come back to your Human and You. That's just my opinion on it. But right now, that's why you're seeing Your Family and You content, is because I have a backlog of it. So like, why not just put it back up, Enjoy the video. Hey guys, it's 258. Welcome back to Your Family and You. This time it's chapter 2. It's called Breakfast Time and Crystal Limes. Last time, our boy, I'm guessing it's Max, I'm still unconfirmed on that, since he said Luna. I am thinking that he's waking up from a nightmare. So anyways, let's just hop right into it. I woke in a cold sweat. Lurching upwards, I tore the covers off my body as I struggled to breathe. My heart thundered in my chest, breathing a morbid tempo against my ribs as the blood pulsed in my ears. The sheets beneath me were soaked and my clothing clung to my body. Faintly, I noted the taste of copper in my mouth. My tongue ached. Still breathing heavily, my eye frantically darted around the room, searching each shadow for horrors that were not there. I could still hear them, though, scuttling and slithering through the deep recesses of the world, always coming for me. Yet there was nothing there. Twilight's bedroom was exactly as it had been the night before. The faintest hints of sunlight trickled in through the gap between the curtains. It fell across the bed and down into the lower levels of the room. The bookshelves carved into the wooden walls were still packed full with a plethora of books, and her desk against the far wall was still completely covered in various scrolls, grimoires, and broken quills. Several burnout candles dotted the surface as well. Running a hand through my long hair, I let out a deep, shaky breath. I flexed my fingers, staring at them as they opened and closed slowly. They felt stiff, their joints popping as they moved. The phantom pain from the dream was still present. It had only been a dream, I told myself, only a dream. And yet, the sound of birdsong from outside snapped me from my thoughts, and when I glanced at the curtains, they were made from a soft lavender fabric, a much better quality than the thin yellow ones that Twilight had previously used. These ones were thicker and didn't force me to wake up with the rising of the sun. Twilight had been a little hesitant at first, but it hadn't taken much convincing for her to change them out. In fact, it just took one night of me sleeping on the couch, and the curtains were changed the next morning before I had woken up. Speaking of Twilight, your girl, we know Max. I turned my attention to the other side of the bed. It was currently empty, and upon tentatively placing my hand against the bedsheets, I noted that they weren't even warm. She's been up for a while, I mused as my fingers dug into the coarse material. The only question was how long. According to the cuckoo clock on the opposite wall, the one that I had made sure wasn't going to be making any noise, it was a little after 8 in the morning. That meant she'd probably been up for at least 3 hours already, even after living with her for over a year now. I will never understand how that mare managed to get up so early, especially after staying up later than me reading. There's some magic bullshittery going on there, and I'm a wombat, okay? But then I had to calm down to the point where my heart was trying to actively escape my ribs, despite having been so abruptly thrust into the land of the living. I was still exhausted. I was debating the chances of going back to sleep for a few more hours when I heard the sound of hooves on the stairs outside. A moment later, the bedroom door swung open. "Oh, you're awake!" In the doorway stood a purple pony. Her mane had been neatly brushed, the pink and purple highlights standing out against the dark blue hair. A pair of wings twitched at her sides as she studied me intently with her deep violet eyes. "Don't tell me it was another nightmare," until I asked, her voice soft. I said nothing, but she was able to read the answer on my face. She said, "This is getting ridiculous. You really should do something about them." "It's fine," I said. My voice was rough and cracked on fine. Twilight shook her head. "No, it's not fine," she smiled as she moved into the room. "You barely got any sleep since the fiasco in Canterlot." Her horn lit up with a rosy light, and a pair of saddlebags emerged from the closet. As she began to fill them up with books and papers, she continued, "You say that you aren't traumatized, but it's clear that you are. You struggle to fall asleep at night, and when you finally do, you suffer from nightmares more often than not." She paused her packing to look up into the loft. "I'm really getting worried about you." "I'm fine," I said again, though I didn't meet her eye. "It's nothing, just a few bad dreams. I've had nightmares before." "For 2 weeks straight?" she asked skeptically. Call back. "I'm not having them every night," I countered. She said nothing yet, glared at me, chewed on my cheek before saying, "Fine, if they continue, I'll write to Luna, okay?" Twilight watched me for a moment before nodding slowly. "If you don't, I will." With that, she returned to her packing. She perused perused the shelves, pulling off several books on various topics, structures, maps, and old-time mechanics. They all went into the saddlebags, along with blank sheets of parchment and several scrolls. So this is recent from your human and you. As she was placing the bags on her back, I asked, "Where are you off to with all that?" She adjusted the straps about her flanks. "Oh, well, Spike and I are heading over to the castle of the two sisters." "Does this have anything to do with that magic box thingy you found by that weird cheery?" "Ooh, actually, yes," she said for the first time. A smile touched her lips. "I was originally going to head to Catalot to check the archives, but predecessor recommended that I look into the ruins library first. According to her, there might be a book or two that can shed some light on the Jess's purpose, or a few might find for my own personal interest." "And you were going to leave without waking me up first?" "Yes," she answered immediately. "You need your sleep. You're still recovering, and with the nightmares constantly waking you up, you need as much sleep as you can get." "Sleep more?" The corners of my mouth twitched upward. There once was a time when you'd be physically pulling me off the couch in order to prevent me from sleeping in too late. "Yes, well, times have changed," she said, a faint blush touching cheeks. "I was going to leave you a note, but I guess I don't need to now. We should be gone most of the day, but I plan to be back around dinner time." She cocked her head to the side and gave me a curious look. "What are you going to be doing today?" Alright, so this is like the castle of the two sisters. So is this... I just don't want him... I don't want this story to be like Max implemented into the shows. I don't know what season this was. It's probably the one after Twilight got wings, but... or after that one. But I don't want... because I'm pretty sure right now, since this is recent to your human and you, Twilight and Max are still living in the library. And right now they're going to the castle of the two sisters. So they know where the Tree of Harmony is. Max has talked to the Tree of Harmony before. And I think that needs to be a little bit more like explored, in my opinion. Anyways, no clue, I said. I was thinking about going back to sleep, but looking down, I flexed my fingers again. I'm not so sure now. I might get up and relax a little. Maybe work on that report you all want me to write so badly. "Well," Twilight said slowly as she made her way towards the door, "whatever you decide upon, remember, don't do anything too strenuous. You don't want to make your leg worse." "Yes, Mom," I called after her as she left, only to be smacked upside the head by a pillow encased in a rosy glow. I love how you still call her that. It's adorable. Come on, Maximilian. Getting down the stairs was a little difficult. My leg might have been healing nicely, but it still hurt to put pressure upon it. As such, I was forced to jump one-legged onto each step while using the railing to support myself so that I didn't fall face first down the stairs. The library was quiet when I finally reached the ground. Twilight and Spike having already left during my slow descent. Several of the windows were open, and a warm breeze wafted inside, bringing with it the smell of spring in the distance. The faint sound of ponies in the marketplace could be heard. I glanced around the library for a moment before the sound of plates clattering together drew my attention to the kitchen. Using the cane I had acquired in Canterlot as support, I limped over to the archway and peered inside. A gray unicorn mare in a white apron was leaning upon the counter, a large mixing bowl in front of her. There was flour in the short, hot pink mane and splotches of jam and jelly upon her cheeks. Her horn glowed a soft pink, and inside the bowl a large whisk up spun and twirled. The heavy scent of cooking batter filled the air, along with the sweet scent of fruit. As I watched, she scooped out a cup of batter before, with expert ease. She deposited it upon a large skillet that was resting atop a lit burner. With a hiss, the scent of pancakes grew. Her horn glowed brighter, and a spatula flew through the air, flipping pancakes that had been previously cooking. Oblivious to my presence, Ebony Rose hummed to herself as she cooked, swaying back and forth on her hind legs. I watched her for a moment, leaning on the doorframe to support myself. As she was removing the latest batch of pancakes, I made myself known. "Did you make enough to share?" To her credit, she only jumped a little. Turning her around, she gave me an annoyed look before it softened into a smile. "As a matter of fact, yes, I did," she said as she went back to her baking. "Seeing as everybody seems to be having a lazy morning, I figured I'd make some brunch for whoever wants it." "Smells good," I said, limping over to peer over her shoulder. "What you making?" "An old family recipe," Ebony answered. "Just standard buttermilk pancakes with lots of blueberries and bananas mixed in them, and some cinnamon to complement it all." I lifted up a bowl of strawberries. "And those go on with the syrup?" she asked as she took the bowl from me and placed it back on the counter. "Got some fresh birch syrup that we're going to try out." "Sounds easy enough," I said, taking a step back. "Glad I'm the first in line. I'm starving." She gave me a smug look. "Actually, you're not. Some pony beat you to the queue." I'm a confused look. She motioned with her head. "Get in line, buddy." Turning, I blinked in surprise upon seeing a human sitting in the far corner of the room. Pyrostede was seated cross-legged upon the floor, surrounded by various bits and pieces of food that Ebony had been using to cook. Her brown hair was its normal tangled, chaotic mess, and she had her signature black shirt on, which was 2 sizes too big for her, considering it had originally been my shirt before she borrowed it. Her fingers and lips were stained red and purple as she munched away happily at the misshapen blueberries and strawberries she had given. Upon seeing me, she perked up and let out a happy-sounding chirp. Alpha, she mumbled out around her mouthful of food. Alpha, food. Holding up a hand, she offered me a large strawberry that looked like it was two that had been fused together. I shook my head, no thank you, I will wait until the pancakes are done. She cocked her head to one side and then to the other, staring at me with big blue eyes. After working out the general gist of what I had said, she glanced down at the massive berry. No, wait, don't, I attempted, but it was too late. Leaning down quickly, she nommed the entire thing in one bite. Strawberry oozed from the corners of her mouth as she struggled to chew the monstrous berry, her cheeks bulging. You're going to choke one of these days, I huffed. Fam, I've got like, I don't know why there's like a normal human just leaving here. Like, why? Like a normal equestrian human that shouldn't be here. Also, I don't know why her name's Pyrostede when the last time I think it was Jane, but whatever. Unless I'm confusing too, and I don't remember that much, but whatever. Anyways, back to it. I don't know, Ebony, I said skeptically. With what I've seen her put in her mouth, I'm shocked she hasn't choked yet. She's consumed whole oranges, peel and all. That amount of trash we have to put out each week has dropped dramatically. She's a bottomless eating machine. Unaware to that we were talking about her, Pyrostede went about licking the sticky fruit juices from her hands. She suckled on her fingers, practically deep-throating them as she attempted to get all of the sweet fluids. Would it be degrading if I got her a toy to chew on? I asked Ebony. I feel like she needs something. I mean, I don't think she'd be top humiliated by it, but I'm not sure if it's proper or not. Honestly, Ebony shrugged. I think she'd probably just end up eating the toy as well. I like to think that she's got enough sense to not consume something that isn't some type of food, I replied. She hasn't eaten her pillow yet, or her clothing. I think she can handle having a chew toy. I disagree, Ebony shook her head. I've seen her consume plenty of non-food items, soap several bits, and popsicle sticks, even when she was finished with the popsicle. Oh, and a light bulb. Saw her eat one of those things too. I gave her a weak smile. Maybe she wanted a light snack? Haha, Ebony scoffed, rolling her eyes. Look, you can get her a toy if you think it'll help, but I'm willing to put bits on her just eating it as well. I opened my mouth to offer some sort of rebuttal, but the second of gagging and retching interrupted me. Pyrostede writhed on the floor, her limbs twitching and jerking sporadically. Greenish froth from her mouth, subsiding down her cheeks and pulling on the floor around her. A bright green box lay beside her. The top had been chewed upon, and the contents, while powdery crystals, were spilled across the floor. Oh, for the love of not again, Ebony sighed explosively before turning off the stovetop. Handing me the special inner magic, she jumped down and made her way out of the kitchen. She called back over her shoulder as she removed the hairpin. Now get the charcoal and potion. You just watch the food and make sure it doesn't burn. Wouldn't it be Max's job to take care of his human? I'm not sure. She's a pet, technically. She's a pet. Max is not a pet, but she, in my eyes, she's a pet since you guys are talking about her eating everything. I nodded, moving to stand beside Pyrostede. She was still gurgling loudly, but I noted that she didn't appear all that distressed. In fact, she was attempting to eat the foam, but it was having trouble biting it. Bending down gingerly, I picked up a box and examined it, only to shake my head upon seeing it. It was a detergent box with a picture of a crystal and a lima on the front. Shaking my head, I dropped the box and got back to my feet. And what do we learn here? I asked Pyrostede as I gently rolled her onto her side. Came the reply. And are you gonna do it again? I suppose that's as good as I'm going to get, huh? Fair enough. This is a lot of gurgling noises. Fair enough. Pulling up a chair, I sat beside her as we waited for Ebony to return. Gurgling quietly to herself, she reached and wrapped a hand around my ankle. Possessively, I said nothing, but a weak smile touched my face as I continued to watch the cooking pancakes. I love how he like, yeah, I like how he's trying to like make sure she's fine. But that's good. I'm interested. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching, listening to, doing what you guys do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
100,000 stories have filled my head as I look for the answers in what I've read. Secretly waiting for my life to change, and with this transformation